Welcome to NEK VT Rocks, and my guest today is Leanne Cunningham. Leanne is a fabric person, a weaver, and probably many other things. Welcome, Leanne. You work with MAC, and obviously you have your own private business. What exactly is it you do?
I weave.
Yeah?
I mostly weave rayon chenille yarn. That's my favorite because it's soft and fluffy and has bright colors.
So if you were to pull out that gorgeous scarf you're wearing, that would sort of, those colors are gorgeous.
Yes.
And I assume you also wove the sweater you're wearing.
No, it's also chenille,
Uh-huh.
which is my favorite
Fabric.
fabric, but no, I did not weave it.
How did you get into this?
I used to knit, and it just wasn't quick enough for me. I wasn't that great at it.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend suggested that I learn how to weave, which I knew absolutely nothing about. So I just got online and looked for a class and took the class and just fell in love with weaving. And then took a couple more classes to learn how to work with the chenille.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
So how many years have you been weaving?
About 4.
Wow, that's not long. So sort of from ground zero to having a successful business, that's a pretty quick turnaround. That's
Mhm.
actually really encouraging.
It's not that hard to do, and I had my teacher, I bought the loom there, I had her set it up for me, I bought yarn from her, so it was all sort of spelled out for me how to do it so that I could keep doing it.
And were these classes you could take locally?
She's actually in Putney,
That's not far.
Vermont, which isn't that far. And it was a retreat for
A
the week.
retweet,
A
right.
retreat. It was a retreat, which was
Yeah.
really fun. So it was 3
Yeah.
days, my
Wow.
first class. And, 4 years isn't that long, but I've been doing the exact same thing for 4 years.
Yeah.
So I'm just now starting to branch out into
experiment.
other yarns and other things and
Yeah.
perhaps dyeing yarn and maybe trying different patterns.
Yeah. Sometimes
New
when I go into MAC,
classes.
and I love going into MAC because there's just so much there. I mean, talk about eye candy,
Mm-hmm.
that you can just walk around touching things. And where in life do we get permission or actually
Right.
encouragement to touch, to feel, to sort of rub it against your skin? Because it just feels so amazing. And you have such a variety of items there.
I just love color. So
Yeah.
for me, it's all about the color and
Color.
what are these colors going to look like together. And then I also like to make different sizes because everybody seems to have their own idea of the perfect
Of what's
scarf
the perfect size. Yeah.
size. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw one day that you had a beautiful hat. It was sort of like a scarf, but you were wearing it on
yeah,
the
the one
hat.
I was wearing.
Yeah.
I almost brought that today, and I thought, it's kind of a goofy hat. So.
Oh, great. I love it.
But that's one of the things I want to try to start making and selling is hats
Yeah.
because they're smaller and maybe less expensive. They don't use as much yarn. My yarn is getting more and more expensive.
I'm sure it is. But you
So-
use different yarns too, because I saw you had some bamboo.
the bamboo. I'm
Yeah.
just starting to experiment with bamboo,
Which, as a sort of fiber that regenerates really easily, because it grows fast.
right.
I mean, I know there's all the processing then and the dyeing and the et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it does grow really fast as a plant. If you've ever had it in your garden, and that's
It's
not
like a
true up
weed.
here in the frozen north, but when we lived significantly south of here, it was everywhere.
So you would think that the bamboo yarn would be less expensive.
Not yet,
But
I
it's
wouldn't,
not.
because I think it's new as a yarn, and
Right.
that's also true for hemp.
Right.
But hemp was starting to really grow up here.
Right, and hemp yarn I've looked into because I thought that would be a neat thing to
Yeah.
work with is actually more expensive
So
than
far,
the bamboo.
so
And
far.
this is rayon or viscose
Yeah.
chenille. It actually goes through the same process.
wood-
It's
there's a wood
actually
pulp,
a
isn't
wood
it?
pulp or
Yeah.
a plant
Yeah.
cellulose pulp.
Yeah.
So kind of it's really very similar to bamboo
Hmm.
and hemp as far as the process.
Yeah. Are there places that process it in Vermont that you know of?
Not that I know of.
Right. There's an industry for somebody who'd like to start one.
Right, because I believe mine comes from overseas.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be cool for somewhere like Sterling College?
Yeah, it really
Which
would.
is that's another fabulous facility for experimentation and looking at what's possible on a small scale and then growing it
Yeah.
or not.
That would be great because people want more plant-based
Yeah.
materials.
Yeah. We have some pretty amazing resources in this state that we don't even know about.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of keep hearing about them and you think, wow, how does it I didn't know that before? And particularly as the plant-based stuff is growing.
I think that's becoming more and more popular.
Yeah. And for food too.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm sure that's making some of the farmers a little nervous. But
Could be, but they
Yeah,
can just
oh, well.
switch.
yeah.
Switch what they're
And
growing.
I guess one of the things, and you actually are the perfect person to talk about this with, because you're fairly new into fiber work or this kind of fiber work, is how do we as a culture increase our understanding of what art is and start to see it as a participatory event, not just as a spectator sport? I think we tend to see art as something that other people do, other than it's something that all of us can have in our lives in some way. And that if we don't start with young people.
Right. It would be nice if the schools could have more art and perhaps interactive classes where local artists came in.
Right.
You know, the same with music, art and music
Well,
are
I
sort
consider
of
music
leaving
art. Yeah.
schools,
Yeah,
which really we need more of that.
absolutely. Do you ever consider doing classes?
I would. I don't feel like I'm enough of a master to give a class. I could do basics. I mean, it's not hard to weave. It's just there are many time-consuming steps. But there are also small looms, you
Right.
know, that people could use every day. Kids could, you know, when my brother was little, I think everyone's probably seen the little pot holder kits.
Yeah.
So when my brother was little, like in kindergarten, and this was back in the days when it was safe to walk around your neighborhood, but he would
It
make
still
pot
is.
holders and go door to door
Yeah.
and sell his little pot holders
That's very cool.
to people. But, you know, anybody can make those, and that's weaving. So
Do you think kids are taught that anymore?
I don't. I think most kids sit on their iPads or, you know, sit in front of the
Huh.
TV, it seems. I could be wrong. My kids are grown. So.
Were they taught tasks like that?
They did. We always had art projects going on when they were little. As they got older, not so much anymore, but definitely when they were little.
Did any of them go on to explore their own art pathways?
Both of my kids are very, very artistic and much more talented than I am, but they don't really believe they are. So they do art as something to relax, something for enjoyment, but they don't believe that they're very good at it.
What kind of art do they do?
My daughter now is getting into painting.
Huh.
Neither one of them do anything with yarn.
Yeah.
She's painting. My son also paints and draws. He's a very good cartoonist, but he would never, ever agree that he is.
Would he ever
just does it
submit
for
a
fun.
cartoon somewhere?
No. He's also a very good writer, but he doesn't do anything with that either.
So how do we encourage young people, and I mean all the way young, into having at least some confidence. And I don't mean thinking that they're the most supreme talent on the planet, but just thinking that what they do is worthy.
I think a lot of that comes from, now everyone's encouraged to be a doctor so they can, make money, or a lawyer, or of course a software engineer,
Yeah.
Which is what my daughter ended up being.
Well, at least she's making money.
Yeah. But I think there's that mental,
Yeah.
thing that you can't make money with art. You can't support yourself with art. So why bother, I think that's out there. I think majoring in art, I think there's a lot of attitude of why would you do that? I know a lot of kids aren't encouraged to pursue a degree in art. I was definitely discouraged.
I would have been too.
My parents didn't want me getting a degree in art.
Yeah.
So why would why?
Why would you?
Why would you
Right.
waste money on that? So I think if that could turn around, I think it would be nice I think it would be helpful too for a lot of, I don't know, mental issues. If people could get more into art, whether they think it's good or not, just to be able to express yourself that way. I know for me, it's definitely a very calming thing. It's a meditative thing. It's my zen to go just weave.
Yes.
So if everybody had something like that, especially if they were taught that in school, that it's a good, positive thing,
Right.
that you don't have to be great at it, you just have to enjoy it.
That it's not a competitive sport.
Right. That
Yeah.
it's just a part of life that everybody could have.
I know when I was in school long, long ago and far, far away, arts were considered important. We were all exposed to them. So we went to opera, we went to concerts, we went to plays, we went to galleries, and we did some art ourselves. But there was the piece that was the competitive piece, which is that it wasn't just about having that wonderful Zen place. It was about having to be good and looking at kids who were super talented, and some of them were, and thinking, I could never measure up for that. It would be really nice to have a way of being able to participate and not feel that it was competitive. And that doesn't mean that you can't value what's wonderful.
Right. But everything's competitive.
Why?
It's the way of the world.
Why? It's not helpful or healthy.
No, it isn't. But I think a lot of artists sort of feel that way, which is silly. We should inspire each other.
Right.
And nurture each other. And teach each other.
Yes.
But there isn't a lot of that.
Yeah. How long does it take you to weave a scarf like that?
About 10 hours from start to finish.
Wow.
Yeah, there are just a lot of steps. A lot
Yeah.
of threading of
Yeah.
threads.
And it sort of explains why it's expensive to buy a scarf like that.
Right. It's the time. I mean, I probably make 50 cents an hour.
Yeah.
But it's the yarn. The yarn's expensive.
Right.
So, that's really it. But as long as I can make enough money to keep buying yarn,
To support your yarn
that's how
habit.
I got
Right.
into the business part of it. Is I just wanted to buy more yarn so that I could have all the colors.
I can't imagine what your closet looks like.
I have so much yarn, it doesn't fit in a closet. Plus I like to see it, so it's all
Right.
out on shelves.
I was thinking how many scarves, etc., you must have yourself.
Well, right now I don't have that many. I probably have, I keep the ones that aren't right, or the experiments. So I have those. Probably have about 3 good ones that I really like. But every time I decide to keep one, my husband says, "What? You're keeping another one?
Why are you
sell
telling
it."
him?
I know. He knows.
Does he have a scarf?
I gave him one, but I have it. 'Cause I'll kill him if he loses it. My scarves are like my children.
So you
I'm
grow
protective
some,
over them.
you grow some to give away and some to keep at home.
Yeah, well, once they're gone, once I give them away or sell them, then they're sort of off my mind. But if I see one in the house that's being mistreated,
it's terrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah. I used to make candles, and there were some that I got really attached to, which for a candle is absolutely stupid because they're either to burn or they start to melt within themselves over time anyway. It was what?
Oh, I don't know. I have a special candle that I've had for
forever?
20 years.
Yeah. It's funny, I don't have any candles now because I have some young cats who were all over everything, and there would have been some barbecued cats or a barbecued house. So I just stopped with the candles. But I do felt.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, fiber to me is one of the more important arts. Not that I'm really putting a value on it, but for me, it's not a competitive sport.
No,
It's
it
just
shouldn't
fun.
be.
I love fiber. I mean, I'm the one who walks down the line of clothing. I love thrift stores too. So I walk down clothing racks in thrift stores, and I'm touching everything.
Mm-hmm.
And really, what I'm pulling out is what feels wonderful.
I do that too.
Yeah, exactly. And cashmere, particularly.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really get the feel of the chenille. I actually have a couple of chenille jackets. That
Oh, you do?
Yes, I
Oh,
do.
I love
them.
jackets. I would love to be able to do that.
Why
but
can't you?
I can't sew. I
see.
can't. I cannot sew.
Huh.
So I don't know. I haven't tried it for many years. Maybe I need someone to teach me how.
Or you need a business partner.
Or a business partner that can sew.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, I can't sew a straight line.
No, neither can I. I come from a family where my mother made absolutely everything.
Wow. Yeah.
I
my
don't
cousin
even thread a
does.
needle if I can possibly avoid it.
Yeah, I can't. I got one of those little sewing machines and this super simple, whatever it's called, and I can't even figure out how to make that work. So,
It sounds like we all need a place that can give us some of the basics in many skills.
right.
It would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. I mean, I know there are people at MAC who sew.
Yes,
so I would
and
love
sew
to
really
say,
well.
could we somehow barter something? I can teach you this skill if you can teach me how to sew.
And open it up to anybody outside too, because we have that whole gorgeous gallery downstairs.
We do have that. I was thinking that the other day.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we have that open and certain workshops?
Yeah.
This day and that day. My loom's pretty portable. I can,
Mm-hmm.
they do sell small little table looms that anybody could get a hold of if they wanted to. And
Yeah.
they
So
could learn.
you could bring your loom in. I mean, obviously you wouldn't have other looms there that other people could work with, but could you teach with just one
Yeah.
loom?
I could teach, but somebody would want to have one. there,
Right,
too.
but that would be stage 3,
But,
4,
yeah.
and 5.
Yeah, because it's not hard.
Right.
It's just threading.
Is there anyone
threading.
around here who makes looms?
Not that I know of.
Okay. At one time, I was interested in spinning, and there is a company somewhere near Glover who makes small
Spinning wheels?
spinning wheels.
Oh,
They're,
didn't know
they're
that.
nice.
I'd like to do that too.
Yeah.
We have 4 dogs. They're husky. One's a husky
Oh, fabulous
and 3
dog hair
husky
to put in.
shepherds. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've been thinking for my next adventure, learn how to spin their hair.
Yeah.
And there are people who do that around
Yes,
here.
there are. There's somebody who has Angora rabbits and spins that in
I bet
with her
that's
wool.
nice.
She lives
yarn.
in Derby.
I bet that's nice.
Yeah, it would be fun to have her come in and do a workshop
It would.
too.
It would.
I like this idea.
And you know, I'd love to learn how to do felting as well. I think that's amazing.
In February, we're doing a series of NEK is doing a series of workshops. I'm not sure what some of the others are now, but I know I was going to participate and do a felting workshop for little kids. You know how you can felt a cover for soap?
No,
You've seen-
I don't know anything about it.
They look like it's a piece of soap in a sweater, basically.
Oh.
But it's part of it, and it makes the soap wonderful to use.
Oh.
So that is technically for little kids, but there's no reason why big kids couldn't
Right,
come
I would
too.
go to that.
Yeah. It's really easy, and it's fun.
It's so neat looking.
Yeah. But think about it, we could all do this.
We could.
And I know some of the other members are talking about it. One of our, quote, next newer members is talking about a percussion workshop. And he's listening to this as we're doing this show, teaching drumming.
That would be
awesome.
fun.
Yeah. Parents, I think, would hate that one, but
Yeah. I don't know. It's something for their kids to do
Right.
other than looking at a screen.
yes. I mean, I know that there are creative ways to use a screen, and I'm sure your daughter, the software person, is doing that. But it's so stationary
Mm-hmm.
that, I don't know, and this may just be the dinosaur factor, because clearly but I'm looking at some of the videos that young people are making, and they're really cool.
Yeah.
Some of the animations, your son, the cartoonist, think what he
Mhm.
could do with your daughter, the
Yeah.
software worker. There's some great cartoons, just short little animated videos. They're really cool.
Yeah, I've seen some of those.
Yeah, and that's a field that's just changing so fast.
Mhm,
I can't
it
even
is.
begin to pretend to keep up.
No, I can't either.
If I can get online, it's good.
Yeah.
If there were parents listening to this and they wanted to know what could they do to help their kids have some form of art in their life, obviously you did that with your kids, what would you say? What would you encourage them to do? Affordably.
There's so many things available. When my son was little, his thing was paper and tape. I mean, how affordable is that? You
Wow.
know, he just used to love to tape paper together to make his creations, whatever he was making. So we never spent any kind of money on art projects. Tape. I
Right.
bought a lot of tape and construction paper, but you know, you can get that fairly
Yes.
cheaply.
That's at the dollar store.
Yeah.
Books of it.
And the other thing that I've found is YouTube. Again, you're
Yeah.
looking at a screen, but YouTube has so many, many, many ideas
It does.
to create things out of recyclable items.
Right.
Just so many. You can spend, I could spend
Hours.
hours
I
looking
could
at
too,
art
yeah.
projects on YouTube.
Yes.
So any parent who maybe doesn't have an idea of
Go online.
what to do,
Yeah.
just Google kids art projects.
And then there's that terrible invention called Pinterest,
Right.
which is another thing that sucks people in.
Definitely. They have a lot of great weaving.
I'm
things
sure.
on Pinterest.
Just amazing.
But YouTube will actually show you how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just absolutely can't come up with something
Right.
and you don't need a computer, you can just Google it on your phone,
Right.
you know. So,
Remember when I was a kid, again, long, long ago, and far, far away, my mother would spread newspaper on the table, and give us, again, some construction kind of paper and cut up potatoes. And you
Oh.
can make shapes in the potatoes. You could do that with a cookie cutter. And then you dip the potato in paint and you make
And make prints. Yeah,
Prints,
we
yeah.
did that.
It was fun. We were
Yeah.
covered in paint by the end. But you know, kids
But
wash.
that's the best
You just chuck them in the
part.
tub or the
Yeah.
shower.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, there are just so many things
Yeah.
that you can do.
And we
with
didn't have
kids.
YouTube then.
True, YouTube is pretty amazing
Yeah.
for ideas.
I've seen other absolutely wonderful projects with kids and toilet roll inserts.
Mm-hmm. So many.
Yeah.
There's so many things you can do with those.
Yeah, the other thing we did was paper mache. We tore up paper and wet it, and I think now they put it in a blender or something, but we didn't have the luxury
Just
of
use
blenders.
starch.
Yeah, you
just
could
to
you
put
could
it
make
on.
pots and all
Mhm.
sorts. It was fun.
Yeah, we didn't do that because it was too messy. I was more of a tape kind of mom.
You didn't like mess?
No.
Oh, no.
I didn't. No, not with my son. He was sort of all over the place.
Oh. Oh, he was really messy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think we were sort of confined to one area of the kitchen, but it was a big kitchen, so it didn't matter how messy we got.
Oh, yeah. No, we had a small space, but there were times too, you know, with the holidays coming up, my kids loved to decorate cookies. So we
And
would
that's
make the
artistic.
cookies, and I would put like a tarp on the kitchen floor
Yeah.
and the trays of cookies, and they'd have all the frosting and sugar, and they could just go to town.
That's great.
And then at the end, I could just pick up the tarp and go shake it out in the woods.
Right. Did the dogs help?
We had to keep the dogs out. Mostly because dog hair would get into everything.
Oh, and the icing,
you know?
right.
Yeah.
And whereas dog hair is wonderful in felting and in spinning,
Right.
and
Not in
weaving,
cookies.
it's not so great on cookies.
No.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
That's a great idea with cookies.
Yeah, just because you didn't have to worry about, you know, the sugar everywhere. Because
Yeah.
they did like to go a little crazy with that.
Yeah. One of the local organizations this last weekend had a cookie icing party, sort of for the community, which I thought was really neat.
That is fun, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not that hard to either make or even buy basic cookies, because
Right, right. And there's so many different colors of
Right.
the sugars now, and
Yeah.
also little stars and, you know, whatever. There's so many things to decorate cookies with
yes,
now
exactly.
that it would be so much fun for the kids. It's fun for me. I like it.
Who said that childhood has to end at 15
Right.
or whatever we've decided the arbitrary
Right.
age is?
Right.
We are just about out of time. And you didn't think 30 minutes was survivable, did you?
No.
But it really is, and it's a lot of fun. Would you be willing to come back at some point?
Oh, sure.
Great. And do some version of this again. And hopefully some of the things that we've talked about today, we can all make happen.
Yeah,
And why not?
really, why
We've
not?
got a lot of spaces and resources in Newport that we haven't even begun to tap in. And in fact, in the whole of the kingdom, because it doesn't just have to be Newport.
Right, right.
It's great. Anyway, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Again, it'll happen.